My name is Erica Lorraine Spencer, and I remain subject to state surveillance and terrorism by the state of California that is operating a malicious targeting system which is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices. And it is in violation of federal stalking statute 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsections 1 and 2. My website and podcast serve the public good by publishing evidence of the public entity's ceaseless engagement in a pattern of conduct intended to stalk and monitor via communication devices, surveil, harass, and terrorize an American citizen in concert with the people of the state of California. Documentation serves the lawful purposes of wide exposure, federal prosecution, and influencing federal legislation with policies specifically designed to punish, dismantle, and disincentivize an unprecedented targeting system by a public entity that acts in concert with the people of the state in order to criminally place under surveillance and terrorize an American citizen, which is a matter of public corruption in the state of California. See thepatternofconduct.wordpress.com.
8ZRG642, 7ZHP969, I believe, 7ZNP884, 8GGI855, 6RZU973, that's an Asian male. He's engaged in surveillance at Target in Montclair, California, 7REW780, 8SVA460, 8DCG638. So are all the rest of the people of the state. I'm just speaking to what I'm documenting in their criminal activity as they are following literally step by step everywhere that I'm going. 8GGT855, KPM716, that's a Prius with 6 characters on the license plate. They cut off part of the license plate. KPM, oh no, they folded it. License 7KPM716, 9ADE466, 9BCD920, 8YGC104, 7YGC104, 7KFV387, 8YTS943, stalking in the parking lot with light activity. That's a terrorist act where the entity is monitoring you. License 7AKG031, 6SDG549, 7PLU801, 8ZMK838. I want to see 9APD 722. License 8ZXA591. And this is the target at 9052, I believe Central. This is the one in Montclair, documented them before. Fake sun, as though it's setting over here. HAI, 8TKC395. Alrighty, this is demonic activity. Understand this. This is a demon-possessed population engaged in heavy-duty, hovering, stalking conduct on behalf of the state. And I will expound upon that. It is currently 10:04 a.m. It's, let's see, 10:04 a.m. on May 30th, Monday, May 30th, 2022. It's P.O.C. Just literally group stalking inside of a store, using shopping carts, using stalking inventory, using the intercom, using everything to stalk with noise. Indirected light. This is that ongoing demonic system underway inside of Target. You need to know Target is monitoring American citizens. Target hires demon-possessed individuals. It's the P.O.C. It's 10:05 a.m. These are the demons inside of Target stalking with noise. That's what they're doing, stalking with noise. And I'm showing you images of what are this is Target, the company. You're going to prosecute them. They're not only group stalking in their venues, they're group stalking on the roads and the highways, where the people of the state are using commercial vehicles with the Target logo, and that's how you're going to also document them. But I want to be clear, this is demonic activity that you're listening to. When I'm outside and you hear the amplified train, you hear the entity stalking by plane and helicopter. How does the state maintain monitoring inside of a venue where the people of the state are group stalking and terrorizing with it? Maintaining that same environment where the entity is also stalking with a fake sun and directed light, which is also inside of the venues, as I've documented the P.O.C. And these are demons who are stalking inside of the store. All right. And so and by stalking, I don't mean STOCKING. They are stalking, STALKING, and using what is their form where there is no form. But demons rely on what it is that they're doing, which was supposed to be some basis upon which you can never even recognize the fact that you're subject to group stalking. These are demons who are delusional, and I'm going to prosecute them. Target also engaging in what is harassment. You have a minion who is stalking me with Target and knocking the products out of my hand. And these are hostile demons who know I'm taking pictures. They know they're being documented. They're monitoring. Okay, so I want to document that. This is harassment by an entity engaged in federal stalking. This is at Target. And you also have this is terrorism while they're surrounding you with methods of noise. This is the entity that is maintaining that same behavioral pattern, that same pattern of conduct wherever it is that you go, and that's the prosecution of Target. All right, these are demons that are monitoring with communication devices. They are stalking aisle to aisle, just like they are intersection to intersection, building to bathroom stall, obsessive stalking that's occurring inside of the store. All right, it's currently 10:19 a.m., and this is P.O.C. It's 10:20 a.m. The entity is engaged in criminal summoning, and they're doing so, again, as you document. And that is speaking to, again, this is federal prison. This is the entity that is engaged in that obsessive stalking in the personality of Satan, this is terrorism. While police officers who are stalking place to place in helicopters, they're doing so via the people. And sounding sirens is a method of terrorism while you are documenting them. This is the ongoing evidence against the people of the state. And being on your job at the retail store will result in what is time in federal prison, if not a psychiatric ward. That's an intentional act intending to terrorize while you're documenting the pattern of conduct, which American citizens have the right to be free from, and you will sit in federal prison for that, all right? And you're going to prosecute the people of the state for that. Target is monitoring with the state of California. And that criminal summoning, that's the sounding of sirens inside a Target at 10:20 a.m. This is P.O.C. All right, thank you. What's your name? Hi, what's your name? Diana? Okay, thanks, Diana. Diana is monitoring with the Montclair Police who's sounding sirens and operating her communication device. Thanks for your help, Diana. She's group stalking in the store. This is a demon-possessed group stalker, all right, going by the name of Diana. She's monitoring inside of Target while the entity is repeatedly sounding sirens. She is in direct light under the fake sun and engaging in what is very serious criminal activity, all right? It's 10:22 a.m. I am on surveillance cameras inside of Target completing my purchase right now while she's standing behind me monitoring on her phone while the entity is sounding sirens. And that's how the pattern of conduct works, all right? That's the ease with which terrorism is underway in the state of California. And it's also the impermissible threat. It is currently 10:23 a.m. Alrighty, license 7ZLD176, 7VZD 778, 8ZQM 599, 8UZJ 970, ZAA2J, that's a Florida license plate. That pack of African-American minions who were group stalking inside of the parking lot of Target under the fake sun, that's their license plate with Florida on it. 7BLK 536, 8TKA 965, 8XIV 596, 7MAT 503, 6RVP 776, 7VUN 828, 47250Z2, 4GXZ 563. This is criminal surveillance, and this is sponsored by Target. You need to know what Target is about. It's about what is entirely demonic and demented, contrary to what they're depicting on their commercials across the world, not just across this nation. And they're monitoring American citizens. There are a bunch of demons doing that. 7KKN 986, they're demon-possessed employees stalking from aisle to aisle, creating any method of noise that they can while they're pushing around carts and baskets and whatnot and stalking inventory. They're demons who are stalking on behalf of the Montclair Police, who are sounding sirens inside of the venue, who is under what is a fake sun that is not possibly over my head in that same central manner at the same time in Chino, California at St. Mary Margaret Church. 8LKS 793, which is just one example. Because I'm also showing you what is the fake sun that's remaining over the very precise placement over the window of the Ovid Family Community Library at 10:19 a.m. Remember that? That's nowhere near that. It's minutes away. This is just giving you an example of what is stalking with the fake sun. Who is stalking with light in that manner? The demon possessed. 8UZJ 970, engaging in a state system which is satanic. And that's what includes Target. That's why the fake sun is over me at the entrance doors of Target. That's why the entity's amplifying sirens inside of the store of Target. And where Diana's going to find herself in a psychiatric ward, if not federal prison. License plate, CD06K56, paper. All right, Diana's monitoring with the people of the state who are filling this venue to engage in criminal conduct. And nothing that you're purchasing is any departure from that criminal system. That's why you have the environment here. The scientific impossibility that it is the natural environment. There are a bunch of stalkers, there are a bunch of demons who also engage in what is harassment. But this is also speaking to what is harassment, intimidation by an entity who is also a violent sex offender. All right, this is the prosecution of Target. Let me be clear, Target represents the people of the state. And I will drag them in federal court. I'm going to prosecute them civilly and criminally. And this is speaking to what is a template, how you will enforce your constitutional rights, and your human rights, while the people of the state are stalking you, group stalking and monitoring you with law enforcement. All right, this is P.O.C. It's currently 10:28 a.m. Stalking with Montclair Police, 7DYM740, that's an Asian male. Stalking with light, 6GNP584. So this minion's monitoring at Target. And then engaging in is monitoring documentation, all right? Knows everything that's being documented. Understand the entity that is in no way deterred by the fact that you're documenting the criminal conduct that it's engaging in with the state. That's going to result in what is mandatory time in federal prison, okay? And I'm also documenting the people of the state, demons that molest and terrorize with directed light. That's relevant to what is, again, the mind state, the threat to the public. And that is, you're talking about what is that straitjacket, that psychiatric ward where the demon possessed belong. License 5MXX779, 7ARP271, 8YET624, 7ZTP979, 8XEP640. And they're group stalking at U.S. Bank using the tellers, my presence. This is speaking to what is group stalking. Everything that they're doing is for purposes of monitoring on behalf of the state, including United States Postal Service on Memorial Day in the parking lot of Target, group stalking. License plate, let's see, 9APD722. All right, so I want to show you that the United States Postal Service is always group stalking, but I want you to see that they're monitoring with the people of the state. And I captured that at 10:33 a.m. at the same venue where the fake sun is over. The United States Postal Service is not delivering mail. They are demons who are group stalking. They're doing so on a systematic basis, and they're also using their form delivering mail on Memorial Day. I captured that minion that's driving that vehicle as well as the male with the little latchkey thing around his neck. 1SQN308. It's currently 10:33 a.m. 6CTK738. The United States Postal Service vehicle is 8201720. License 5UGK185, 9AXJ871. Eight PQK332, 7NEL934. Did you got your 61314LS? That is public safety. That's the name of that's the logo on that building. They're group stalking, the security personnel group stalking at Montclair Place Mall. It's 10:38 a.m. Six YTE408 01445 01445. I can't really see that one. They're group stalking at the 10 freeway, 19708T2, including Amazon Prime. And by group stalking, what I mean, you have a demon that's remaining close to the freeway entrance with flashing lights. This is surrounding the perimeter where the mall is, where I'm in the vehicle, where this vehicle is being driven, and the fake sun is over my head. It's a terrorist act, license 7HUJ653. All right, these are demons that engage in stalking, following all around with methods of light activity. It's 10:46 a.m. 9AHE986, 5XMW329. They're monitoring with that minion that's creating that light activity. They're one entity. It's 10:46 a.m. All right, they're going to a psychiatric ward. They're terrorizing with direct light inside of the car. 200RF, handicap, 8RNU421, 8TBF454, 8GST938, 6HOE629, BX271, handicap, 8EYU762, 7HYF055. No, thank you. You can take me this one right here. It's closer. And I want to be clear, this directed light conduct, this is what demons are doing everywhere. When I went to the Starbucks in Chino, remember 7055 Schaefer? And what they're doing is egregious acts of terrorism, entirely demented. And it is designed to not only monitor you, but it is the mark of demon possession, while Starbucks itself is hostile to my very presence. And like I said, every employee, all those license plates, you're talking about what are mental wards, if not federal prison, okay? It's 10:50 a.m. 6LUM845. 6RSJ858. 8FNA 767, 7PCV 464, 4104 MA, 8FTS 585, 4MGP 111, 8CVT 421, and the correct license plate actually is 6LUM 945, 7MMP 082, 7UXF 316, 6MYN 972, 7RFH 690. That's the Demon, 6RSJ 858. License 90TB 730 and CD17Z80. Just systematic presence of demons, stalking. All right, this is a scene out of hell. I've shown you in video after video. And this is why you have many that are going to federal prison and psychiatric courts. That's why. This level of terrorism underway by what are psychopaths who are stalking on behalf of a state. 20160K3, 8UNH316, and they do it under the company names such as Target. V850AA, that's Utah, 7SKG 469, 8SDW 630, 8KSW 684, 6BJR 342, and it's 10:58 a.m. Alrighty, I did capture at 11:05 a.m. You see the fake sun directly over me while I'm sitting inside of the Starbucks, the same Starbucks where I'm in the parking lot. The Montclair police is crossing paths by helicopter. The light source, the demons that are in their vehicles and walking out, getting out of the car. While I'm on my podcast, first of all, what's going on is they're sitting in their cars, engaged in surveillance. They're group stalking, all right? They're maintaining presence, and this includes Tracy Banks, who she's documenting herself at this point. She's revealing her own wicked core at this point. All I'm doing is press and record, okay? And the very words that come out of her mouth revealing what is her condition, what is her status as no different than any other demon-possessed group stalker. I happen to know her name. She happens to be the one who bore me into existence, but that has nothing to do with what is her demon possession. Thank goodness that doesn't run through the bloodlines. So you have what is a demon that is going by the name of Tracy Banks, who's monitoring with all the rest of them. And she's also engaging in what is harassment while she is stalking. She's a group stalker, like the rest of these demons who are pacing around in their vehicles, sitting in their vehicles. And then as I capture video, the entity immediately begins visibly stalking by helicopter because they were already stalking. That's how you engage in that ongoing immediate presence. You're already stalking in the path. So you're engaging in what is, again, as I'm capturing the fake sun at this Starbucks in Montclair, California. After leaving Target and the fake sun is over me at the entrance of that Target. At the same time where I'm reminding you in that video, I'm in Chino, California at St. Mary Margaret, a fake church. It's not a real church. You have the demon possessed. You have what are literally the wicked who call themselves believers. They can call themselves whatever they want. Moreover, they're criminals, okay? So not only is it disingenuous religiosity, it is also criminal conduct that is very, very serious with regard to that which is in concert with the state. And at 10:23 a.m., the sun is not possibly over at my head in this zenith position. At the same time where today I went to the Target in Montclair, California, and it's right there over my head at the entrance. I mean, as I'm walking out, it is right above my head. There's a pattern there. Pay attention to that. And that pattern is that it's in zenith over my head, but also it doesn't matter how close or far I am as I use buildings so you can see how hovering this light source is as it moves while I'm inside of the building, walking to the entrance or exit of that building. That fake sun is right over my head, okay? This entity is keeping this light source over me as I then come, again, where I'm at now, this Starbucks in the parking lot. And demons are pacing all around while I'm sitting in Tracy Banks' car and I'm documenting. They're molesting me with directed light. You have what is the impossible occurrence of how light is somehow flashing and manifesting inside of the car, all around the car and on my person, while this psychopath who you hear, Tracy Banks, is on video saying you're drawing attention to yourself while I am documenting the police who are stalking. Okay? That's literally what she said. And like I said, I just captured it on video. That's a psychopath, by the way. That you're witnessing what is demonic possession. The words that are coming out of her mouth, yes, this is a human being you're looking at. She is of her own volition speaking, but you're talking about what is that spiritual influence. This is somebody with the spirit of Satan on them, and she's communicating to the person that she gave birth to, and that is myself. I'm her daughter, but you're not dealing with flesh and blood. You're dealing with demonic conduct. I'm dealing with Satan, in other words. Okay, Satan is going by the name of Tracy Banks, Tracy Jenkins on Facebook, and this is what she says out of her mouth, which is literally the abnormal and inhumane conduct, speech, reaction of the behavior of somebody who is a a normal person, let alone an actual mother. I'm dealing with Satan, I'm not dealing with the mother. So I'm dealing, in other words, with what is a third party, who I happen to know by name, address, image, okay? A long history, not only of this inhumanity in this treatment. It is in conformity to the pattern of conduct, and that is the documentation of the entity that is stalking by police in this helicopter at 10:58 in the morning. And as I'm in that parking lot and you're looking at the entity that's stalking me by helicopter, this is what you're going to witness. This is speaking to those who are going to psychiatric wards. I want to be clear, the psychopath that is demonstrated through the very speech and conduct, the fact that your own mother would engage in that, that's a very, very threatening act. It's criminal. It's not just the fact that she's a bad mother. This is criminal conduct. Understand what I'm getting to when you're talking about terrorism. Understand the public corruption that is underway. Understand what is a psychopath that is engaging in that ongoing criminal determination to target an American citizen. That's what's relevant. It's not just about being a bad mother. That bad mother is literally Satan incarnate, okay? This bad mother is relevant to, though, what is terrorism. The people of the state engaging in this pattern of conduct against an American citizen by all means necessary. Okay? And like I said, there is no exception with regard to the identification of a third party by some sort of relationship, work, personal, or otherwise. It does not matter. When I'm showing you the pattern of conduct, when you are realizing the environment that you're in, when you are aware of the criminal system that you're subject to, you personally, you need to understand, first of all, you don't have a friend. You are being targeted, and it's spiritual at its core. The demon-possessed are targeting you. That's what you need to understand, and that's inclusive of, as heartbreaking as it might be, somebody that's in your family, somebody that you might be romantically engaged with, somebody that you may consider your friend, people who you go to school with, who you work with, who you live with. There is no exception. That's what you need to understand. And that is exactly what you'll learn as I am documenting the pattern of conduct that's underway by the state of California, while a third party going by the name of Tracy Banks, who is my own mother, is targeting me, monitoring, threatening my life, and then blaming me with her audible activity, stating that I am causing activity or creating attention to myself while I'm enforcing my constitutional human rights, and revealing that which Satan was hoping would never be revealed, the fact that she and the rest of them are demon-possessed. It's a matter of objective evidence that you and anybody else are aware of, may know. You have the information. It's a precise formula. And it has nothing to do with what you claim to believe or not believe. It has nothing to do with religion. Demonic activity is now a matter of what is public information with regard to the ability to identify it and know it, and also prosecute what is a criminal system that you're subject to where the demon-possessed are engaging in it. And that is that which is the government. The government's engaging in this. It's 11:14 a.m. and so I'm revealing what are still images as I'm sitting inside of the Starbucks. That fake sun is over me in this parking lot at Starbucks in Montclair, California, okay? And you have what is a pattern of capturing Starbucks engaging in group stalking and surveillance. And the entity is keeping the light source over me. And then as I enter in the Starbucks, I'm sitting at the, sitting inside of the Starbucks, and the fake sun is right over my head. The same exact pattern while I'm inside of the Starbucks in Montclair at 4490. Remember, off of Holt and Ramona, that fake sun remained right there over that position right over my head the entire time. This is a pattern of what is stalking with a light source. This is the conduct of Satan. Understand, demons are present, just as I showed you in that video. Demons are sitting in here stalking. Demons are engaging in what is monitoring, pacing all around me. They're entirely focused. It's the conduct of a psychopath. Okay, everything, they get up, they walk around, they enter, they exit, they call out somebody's name for an order. I'm talking about the demons that work here. They are engaging in what is taking their break or going to the bathroom, entering, exit. Everything that they are doing is based on ongoing real-time monitoring conduct, and monitoring by the demon-possessed includes their stalking conduct. They are aware of what's going on with your very bodily functions, your every physical movement, your conduct on a communication device, and they are stalking in that regard, and they're doing it on behalf of the police, who I also captured in video stalking me by helicopter, which Tracy Banks, not an actual mother, tragically, she is a demon-possessed third party who I will prosecute like every other terrorist who's engaging in this criminal system, who blamed me while the police are threatening my life, stalking me by helicopter, all right? It's currently 11:16 a.m. and this is P.O.C. at Starbucks, monitoring American citizens. 7ALR 545 or 565. 7ARL 565, I believe. It's 11:16 a.m. 8KZH 538. And as is vividly illustrated in video, these demons aren't doing anything but driving into the parking lot and crossing paths, engaging in surveillance, sitting in any drive-through in relevant position, They're stalking. Okay? All I'm doing is I'm documenting. What they're doing is no longer concealed. It's not a matter of some covert matter of public corruption. It's fully exposed, and they are stalking in plain sight. All right? And then, again, when I'm speaking to punishment, you're talking about what's going to be necessary is group stalking in and of itself is a crime that's accomplished by the numbers. All right? You're talking about what is building more mental institutions in order to put away the level of psychopaths that, as I've revealed it, okay? Thousands of people engaging in this same exact pattern. And that is the reality of the demon-possessed, okay? They exist. There are more of those that are walking in darkness than those that are not. And this is not, again, this is not any religious speech. This is revealing what is criminal conduct that's accomplished by numbers. You have a lot that are going to 78LR545 is the correct license plate. You have a lot that are engaging in what is this criminal system. Oh, and they're going to be prosecuted, but with regard to what's necessary as a matter of justice, dealing with the threat that the demon-possessed pose to the public, dealing with the threat that the criminals who are of this specific condition, demon possession, pose to the public while they're doing so on behalf of a government, and relying on that government to target you, place you in jail. 8KZH358. These are demons that are pacing around in circles, and placing you in jail, placing false allegations on you, seeking to defame you while they are monitoring you. Okay? Those are psychopaths that, as a matter of justice, yes, you're going to sit down in a psychiatric ward. That's exactly where you're going to sit down. And you're going to be there for a very long time while they also engage in what is terrorizing with directive light. Okay? 7XOE340. And you're talking about what is also federal prison. And you're breaking the system down. The demon-possessed Ontario Police Department, not only are they done with law enforcement, this is nothing other than prescription. I'm revealing to you what is not only demonic, okay? I've not only defined that for you, I've given you direct evidence of it, and you are witnessing it themselves while those demons provide an ongoing wealth of evidence while they are begging to not only be removed from from the position of law enforcement, which they will never have anything to do with ever in their lives in any state. 7PIE670, and believe me, Ontario Police is just an example because I'm in Montclair and you're witnessing the same thing. But you have the Ontario Police that are providing that ongoing wealth of evidence after I've already established that they're stalkers, that they're kidnappers, that they're violent sex offenders, that they're engaging in criminal monitoring. That in and of itself is federal prison. Above and beyond that, which is just necessary, it's a matter of justice. Federal group stalking and monitoring is an unprecedented crime. It's an unprecedented criminal act against an American citizen that it has a right to not be subject to it. All right? 7VGW384. You have what is the additional grounds of punishment, and you're talking about what is removal from law enforcement as you're dealing with the demon-possessed law enforcement agencies. You're talking about what is necessarily brought it squarely, directly into question. The mind state, the unstable mind state, all right? The instability that is revealed when you are stalking in helicopters and bearing weapons on police department. You're affiliated with police departments and you're stalking somebody and for no legitimate purpose, while you are also aware that they know and they're documenting it in order to enforce their rights. I mean, conduct in direct opposition with what is the very definition of a police officer. You're talking about what are the police departments. It's group stalking amongst law enforcement. And I'm capturing this, a wealth of documentation. Like I said, in that regard, this is a slam dunk case. I am not done there. You are not only done with law enforcement, you are going into straitjackets. You are losing your freedom, and that's based on the very demented conduct that you engaged in. You did it, okay? And it is revealing what is your mind state. That is very, very unstable. And that is a threat that is necessarily, as a matter of protection to society, removing that. Not only from law enforcement, but from the public. 8SAT346. Removing that from the public, from that threat from the public. 3152OK2. And so you have what is placement in mental facilities, placing them in straitjackets. I said that years before. I said I'm going to show you what they're doing, and this is what I've already done. And I'm also prescribing. I'm not only prosecuting, I am prescribing. And I am telling you, not only did I show you the face of Satan, I'm telling you how you are necessarily dealing with Satan. All right? License 8WUJ069, TZF 6762, that's Virginia, 6SGJ747. The entity is also speaking to what is, again, necessary, which is federal prison. All right, and that's dealing with law enforcement. And you're talking about what is the same exact pattern of conduct. The people of the state, for example, license 8WUJ069 is stalking me on behalf of the police. This demon doesn't have access to a helicopter in order to demonstrate their demon possession. They do the exact same thing, stalking and molesting with directed light. All right, they use what they have at their disposal. The police are using what are numbers to engage in stalking you. And you have the difference, one minion using a helicopter to terrorize you, another minion using their vehicles pacing all around you, and doing so while they're molesting your body with directed light. That's a sex offender, that's a terrorist, that's a stalker, and that's one that's engaging in criminal monitoring. And like I said, you're dealing with the entity that's acting directly and vicariously when I'm giving you the conduct of the same exact condition, the demon-possessed, stalking via 8WUJ069, a third-party group stalker, entering into Starbucks, crossing paths, monitoring with the police, and then the police who are stalking vicariously through that third party, who is acting amongst the group. And they're monitoring together of that same condition. This is satanic in every regard. The police are going to be prosecuted and punished. The people of the state are going to be prosecuted and punished. And they engage in this same demonic pattern of molesting you, molesting your body, a violation of the person. You are touching my breasts, my thighs, any portion of my body with directed light because you're a demon. And you're a sex offender in the same way that a stalker would not have permission to touch your breasts, your buttocks, your thighs, or any area of your body with their hands or any extension of their person. That's exactly how you're going to prosecute it. All right? Because it is satanic, it makes it even worse. It's no different. It's even worse. It's exacerbated because I've revealed to you what is actually satanic in ways in which you would never otherwise be aware of it. Understand, that's calling for what is necessary as a matter of justice. You're putting such criminals, such terrorists, into psychiatric wards. You're going to build them because that's how many that there are. And this is revealing to what is, I'm not only revealing what's going on in California, I'm revealing to you what is an unjust act that American citizens are subject to across this country. All right, and contrary to what these corrupt institutions are telling you about mental health, the reality is that these are minions that are in these positions and giving you what are falsities, not only about the environment that you're in, but the definition of the conduct which defines what is mental health, I'm telling you what it is. It's Satan that's engaging in it. Satan. It's satanic conduct. All right, let me be clear, using mental health, by the way, as a method of targeting American citizens, causing them to think that they suffer from mental issues, placing them on drugs, on prescription drugs. This is the reality of, understand the implications of the P.O.C. Falsely defaming an American citizen who's subject to the system, claiming that you're hallucinating, claiming that you're a paranoid schizophrenic when you don't have documentation, just because that target individual doesn't have documentation of it. And also because there has been no precedent established to the very real system, the very demonic conduct that the entity is engaging in, surrounding you with noises that are occurring out of nowhere. You're not hallucinating, it's the P.O.C. The demons are stalking. Satan itself is present through the environment. All of this I've shown you through what is direct evidence. This is not the sun, this is not the natural environment that's over me. That's not even sunlight that's touching all over me and surrounding me. This is speaking to what is going on with regard to the audible activity as well. And it has been clinically referred to by minions who are in the mental health industry. I want to be clear, and that's not by accident, it is by design. The very same design that is protecting the demon-possessed law enforcement agencies in order to continue this corrupt system of monitoring and placing under surveillance and terrorizing American citizens. Understand the full circle as I'm revealing it to you. This is corruption in this country. This country is the United States of America. And this is how Satan is using people who are in very specific positions in order to facilitate it. All right, I'm breaking all of that down. Let me remove the veil for you and see with your own eyes, hear with your own ears what Satan is doing amongst the people, and it's criminal. And so with regard to that, justice requires that such psychopaths sit in psychiatric wards. And that's a matter of what, not just because I think that, oh yeah, you're, just because I want to, in other words, just because I'm picking that. Oh no, you're talking about what's conduct that's demonstrating a very dangerous psychopath. Psychopaths know the difference between right and wrong. Psychopaths knows what is socially acceptable and unacceptable. Psychopaths know what would be generally referred to as quote unquote weird. This is why they're engaging in what is stalking you and seeking to appear as though they're doing something else. I pointed that out to you. While they're walking in a parking lot and the entity is engaging in the pattern of stalking by a helicopter, you're looking at psychopaths. Okay? While the entity is keeping a light source over me and molesting with directed light, which is both not possibly the sun and not sunlight, and you're witnessing a psychopath that is then blaming me, stating that I'm causing attention to myself, while I'm documenting this scene out of hell that I'm targeted with everywhere I go. You're witnessing a psychopath. These are psychopaths. These are ticking time bombs, and I'm telling you, these are ticking time bombs which you are to remove from the ability to threaten American citizens. Satan is engaging in this for a purpose. Satan has been doing this for a prolonged period. And by Satan, I'm referencing, because you know what the demon-possessed are. You're dealing with Satan when you're dealing with the demon-possessed. The Ontario Police Department, you're dealing with Satan. The Montclair Police Department, you're dealing with Satan. The people of the state, demon-possessed, you're dealing with Satan. And like I said, Satan is engaging in this for such a time as this, and what is a concealed method, and I put that in air quotes, 8 PHS 276, because it's not concealed anymore. I've revealed it to you. This covert system, this matter of public corruption that's occurring in plain sight, and you had no idea that you're subject to it. You're calling it something else. You're calling, oh, I'm at the grocery store, I'm getting gas. No, you're not. You're group stalking on behalf of the state in a specific environment. And everything that you're doing while you're pumping gas is pursuant to your stalking conduct. You're a demon, and you know exactly what that target individual is doing while you keep your third eye on them, looking in the opposite direction. That's a psychopath. Every single last person in that environment is doing so. And it's within a radius because they're monitoring. It's state surveillance. You are talking about what is necessary. You're building more institutions to lock away the threat to the public that Satan is. And I want to be clear, like I said, while I'm revealing to you prior to the time that Satan sought to reveal itself, because there will be a time where Satan is engaging in this criminal conduct in this country amongst the people and a government in a way in which you're unaware of it. I'm revealing it to you ahead of time because there is a time coming where Satan's going to reveal its true identity to you, and there's nothing nice about it, nothing friendly about it, nothing covert about it. Okay, you're talking about what is corruption that's going to be revealed. Corruption that was there the whole time. I'm revealing it to you before Satan was ready for that timetable. Understand that. Right? So anyway, it's currently 11:29 a.m. and that's why they're going to psychiatric wards. That's how you are witnessing the psychopath. That's why they're going to sit in federal prison. That's why you are removing them from the threat that they pose to children. Children that they bear, children that they are exercising custody over through any job. License 7KIR 515. This is why. That's how thorough, those are all the implications of that pattern of conduct. All right, and like I said, at the end of the day, like I told you years before, I'm going to prosecute Starbucks, not just the Starbucks at 706 West Hall Boulevard. As I've shown you from city to city, county to county, Starbucks is monitoring American citizens in this country. I'm going to prosecute that. I'm going to prosecute Starbucks itself, and I'm going to put Starbucks on the map, all right, for the egregious criminal that it is. Starbucks is nothing other than the people of the state. 8NTM 897. It's nothing other than a means of Satan identifying itself. All right, it's currently 11:30 a.m. This is P.O.C. 7MNP 802, MAMBAX 6YUG 691, 8PHS 276, 8NTM 897. It's 11:40 a.m. All right, this is a demon, BF85E92. They're stalking in the path in perfect alignment with where I'm sitting inside of the Starbucks, and they are molesting me with directed light. They're going to sit in a psychiatric ward for that. This is the pattern of conduct by the demon possessed, placing you under surveillance with the police. Understand, this is nothing other than the Montclair Police Department that is group stalking via BF85E92. And not only that, this demon is stalking, and they park in this precise placement in this parking lot in alignment with me where I'm sitting inside of the venue of Starbucks where the fake sun is right over me at the moment that I begin uploading another snippet from my podcast. They are stalking in the path, and understand, moving around an engineered light is activity creation. They're monitoring while they do so, and it's a demon that does so at that very precise moment, that ongoing perfect timing. It's a demon that knows what you're doing. You're placed under surveillance, and they're monitoring, and they're facilitating ongoing monitoring. And they're also a sex offender engaging in terrorism, the conduct that's placing them in straitjackets, 8JO6983, while they're also touching me while I'm inside of a building with what is the impossible occurrence of that's directed light. They're indeed demons, okay? This is what I was documenting yesterday under the fake sun at 9:48 in the morning while the demon possessed are driving by the car, and they're molesting me with directed light. 9AFV003. All right, I want to be clear. That's license plate BF85E92, engaging in surveillance, sitting in a car. It's as pathetic as they do while they're engaging in surveillance in bathroom stalls. All right, and that's why I document it, because you need to know how sick these people are and where they belong. They belong in psychiatric wards, as I've revealed to you what they are doing. All right, Satan doesn't want you to know what they're actually doing, thinking that they're not just going in the bathroom, they're stalking. And I've also gone to the extent of showing you they are indeed stalking under a fake sun and in directed light. They are indeed stalking when you're being molested with directed light. That pattern of conduct does not stop or take a pause, and it's not reasonably suggesting that it is. That's impossible. These are demon-possessed psychopaths stalking in bathrooms, stalking wherever location you go, and they're doing so in a specific environment, and they engage in specific activity as well. All right, it's currently 11:43 a.m. 7HZF044. The same conduct, demons that are just pacing around the Starbucks where I'm sitting inside. Sitting in their cars, engaged in surveillance. Working at the Starbucks, they're engaged in surveillance. They're engaged in surveillance while they're walking in and out as well, but I want to be clear. I'm talking about surveillance with regard to sitting around inside of the venue. They're monitoring while the entity is molesting, filling the venue with directed light. And I showed you images of the demons that are sitting inside. I also showed you video while they're stalking with the entity that's flying outside by helicopter. Okay, I've totally stripped down this whole system for you. And there's psychopaths that engage in that, just like I told you. And so I showed you. But like I said, they're a group. You're plainly a stalker. You're a demon-possessed one as well. While they engage in what is sitting inside of the Starbucks, coming in, oh, thanks, have a great day. I'd like to get some frappuccino, And they're all stalking. They're a bunch of demons stalking. License 8XNT868, and it's pathetic. Okay, it's 11:50 a.m. All right, license 8EOD913. This minion is a Latino male. He's wearing a cap. He's inside a Starbucks. He's engaged in surveillance while the rest of these demons pacing around the building are stalking with lights. So lights reaching inside across the walls, 8UBR249, while he's group stalking with Starbucks, coming in and participating in the criminal act of monitoring with the police and demonic terrorism while doing so via ordering a drink, stalking in the path while that light activity is surrounding me. That's a psychopath. That's a terrorist. And then they do complete a purchase, get their drink, and they walk outside. That's their license plate. I want to document that. That's the pattern of conduct at Starbucks. All right, it's 11:51 a.m. Alrighty, demons pulling up, engaging in what is demonic light activity, just like this one exiting the drive-thru, 8LLC662, and capturing the images of the demons who that third party is monitoring what they're sitting inside of the Starbucks, light flashing, sprawling out inside of the Starbucks while they are driving a car in the street. Okay, this is what I mean by the people that say they're putting themselves in this position. All I'm doing is documenting it. And you already know that directed light is a matter of objective evidence. This is in other words, Satan has no argument. And while you're targeting me, I'm going to document it. 9BEN733. Like I said, I was going to say I'm going to put you, but actually I'm not doing it. This is criminal conduct that Satan is engaging in, and Satan is going to sit in psychiatric wards across this country. And this is while they're engaging in that. I want to be clear, it's a Starbucks that's sponsoring it. Okay, the minions that are 7NSE695, those are demons engaging in the same conduct and then walking inside of the Starbucks. 44568V1. You'll see a female with a male. They're psychopaths. They're demons. They're stalking, and they're engaging in terrorism. And then they enter inside of the Starbucks. Those are the ones you're going to put in straitjackets. All right, and they're stalking on behalf of the Ontario Police Department. Excuse me, of the police department while I'm in Montclair. This is the Montclair Police that will be engaging in stalking in the city. But again, it's a superficial distinction. This is what law enforcement agencies are doing across the country, and the people of the state are demons engaging in this targeting conduct with that entity. And you have again the entity that is surrounded with that evidence. The police are clearly stalking. You are clearly stalking while you sit in Starbucks and sit around as though you're doing anything other than that. All right, they're doing the same thing while the entity's stalking by helicopter, and they're just getting out their cars, just chit-chatting. That's the psychopaths. All right, those are the ticking time bombs. All right, that are violent sex offenders stalking you in the bathroom on behalf of the police, with the police engaging in what is the malicious acts of obstruction of justice, as I've shown it to you, 63893E2, and they are violent sex offenders who molest you with directed light. Look in the opposite direction, and then coming in and standing in your face and stalking you while they're monitoring with communication device and chit-chatting as though they are normal, that they're doing anything normal whatsoever, and they're not. And all I've done is surround you with a body of evidence to show you that. And what I'm going to do with that is, this is speaking to the prosecution of the people of the state who are going into mental wards. All right, that's where they're going to go. YNF414, that's Louisiana. All right, and these are demons doing nothing. And let me tell you something, when the fake sun is over you, it's nothing other than stalking. License 677ES, handicap. These are minions doing the same exact thing. Understand this is pacing. One demon after another after another. License 8DSS590, engaging in what is surveillance, loitering for a prolonged period. And it is 12 p.m. (6NEH863), molesting with 7NSE695, 8PRF221. Engaging in a demonic orgy, repeatedly touching me over and over and over again. And you saw those two demons on video, 7NSE695. They're sitting inside in that video. They're the ones that are molesting while they pull up. Then they come in and get a drink, engaging in sitting inside under the fake sun at 12 p.m. And they're molesting while these demons are pacing around. License 98284G3. demon. License 8HYB330, demon. And 7NES695, they're engaging in what is loitering in the parking lot while those demons are pacing around, stalking with light. So you have the paper plate who I documented. She pulls up. This is a demon that is stalking in the path by where I'm sitting inside, and they park in that parking spot. I identified it with the paper plate. They've been engaged in prolonged loitering. After I captured this video at 12 p.m., moments later she leaves. This other demon, 8PRF221, immediately replaces, touching me with directed light while I'm inside. And 7NSE695 is loitering in relevant position, a part of that ongoing sex offense, with knowledge of the fact that they're being documented. 6NEH863 follows moments later to engage in what is repeatedly molesting with directed light, while 7NSE695 is loitering in relevant position, molesting with these demons who are monitoring together. And then they are pacing around, so they pull into a parking spot, and then they're sitting in the parking lot by the red curb, stalking with light, is what they're doing. And then 7NSE, that license plate, then they move, and this one, all they're doing is pacing around. All right, they're doing so under the fake sense. So I'm just breaking that down, and the sexual violence that they're engaging in, because I'm going to specifically prosecute the people for that. So that's why I'm going through that, what they're doing bit by bit, one after another, while they're hostile because I'm documenting it. That's speaking to a psychopath. You're going to restrain that and put that in a psychiatric ward and federal prison. All right, it's 12:06 p.m. They're all under the fake sun, which is what I captured. The sun is not possibly remaining over this precise location, over my head, by the way, and directly over the roof of the Starbucks, where I'm on Central Avenue in Montclair, where I'm showing you at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, where I was there from 10:19 in the morning, getting off of Route 83, Omnitrans, where the fake sun is over me, and it remains at that same exact intersection over my head in Chino, California at 12 p.m. I also documented at 12 p.m. the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department in Fontana, California, which was a video documentation for you to juxtapose, seeing what is the fake sun, revealing what are the demon-possessed who are stalking in that environment on behalf of law enforcement who are engaged in the satanic targeting system. And the entity is also group stalking at 12 p.m. as I'm showing you both inside of the Upland Public Library, and then on another day when I do not enter the Upland Public Library, and I'll show you the Upland Public Library from across the street to show you what is not the sun that's over my head while I'm inside of that Upland Public Library, where you see that light source directly over me in the same way you see it directly over me outside of this Starbucks, not the sun. An impossible occurrence. But you have what is the impossible occurrence of directed light as well, and you have the impossible pattern of stalking by helicopters and by police. 7CJM504 in those specific environments. Where the entity is stalking me by helicopter, what you'll notice, the fake sun is over me at that same venue. That's what you're seeing at the museum. That's what you're seeing while I'm outside of the venue. In a car where a government is stalking me, that's how important I am, and that's how pathetic they are. Where they're stalking me by helicopters, the police, that's where the fake sun is over me as well. All right, and this is with regard to every location where I'm documenting this. The entity stalking me in Los Angeles, that's where the fake sun is directly over my head. All right, it's demonic activity while they are pacing over me and stalking by helicopters. This is what law enforcement is engaging in, what it's sponsoring. 70QH188. So I want to be clear, this is sexual violence on behalf of everything that I'm documenting. It's attributed to the state. The state is a sex offender. I'm prosecuting the people. They're going to federal prison. They're going into psychiatric wards. You're going to neutralize this threat that's posed. They're ticking time bombs. And this demonic activity is also serving a criminal purpose. License 6327783. It's currently 12:09 p.m. 4BARBR, 4BARB R, I guess. It's 4BARBR. All right, 8FTE003. This is the demon stalking with activity coming from first of all, coming from the drive-thru of Starbucks, which is, again, it's nothing other than surveillance. And they are also demonstrating that on and on while they are exiting the Starbucks as a method of stalking in the path. So meaning exiting, driving out of the Starbucks, which is crossing path, at the moment I engage in a new movement. All right, and also it's coexisting with what is directed light appearing inside of the Starbucks. All right, I'm capturing a series of up-close images of the demon-possessed engaging in this terrorizing system. They are stalking on behalf of the police. They're demons who are molesting with light. They're violent sex offenders. They are posing the impermissible threat while they're monitoring ongoing documentation, showing what is, again, a psychopath that is to be placed into federal prison and or psychiatric wards because they're aware of the fact that their criminal conduct is known and that they are continuously engaging in it. And it is not just criminal conduct, it's entirely demented criminal conduct. This is a very determined demon-possessed actor who was stalking as an entity, following. All right, and that's what they're doing, and that's characterized, surrounded by that evidence. You're stalking with directed light. You're a demon. and you are an obsessed demon stalking while your demonic activity, your criminal conduct, your criminal monitoring is being documented, okay? That's a very dangerous psychopath, and that's what the people of the state are doing. And they're doing it with Starbucks. License 7 PIW 478, engaging in the terrorist act of stalking with light in the path in this parking lot. And that is 8FTE003 that's engaging in that with them. It's 12:14 p.m. 8VZE563. That's the same minion that I captured on video at 12 p.m. He pulls up, touching me with directed light, and you see the overweight minion with the camouflage pants on. This is the Latina female with the black purse, the very large gut hanging over her pants while she's stalking me. I'm sitting in the Starbucks, and she knows that she's being documented. That's an impermissible threat. She's a sex offender monitoring with AVZE563, who are sex offenders touching me with directed light. Captured this in still images. And again, AVZE563 is the demon who you see crossing path in my video at 12 p.m., who is coming back to engage in more of the same. Again, you're talking about what is the prosecution for this entity that's engaged in this conduct. And this is criminal conduct that is underway by the police department. The people of the state are demons doing it on the police department's behalf. That's what group stalking is. It's 12:18 p.m. 8PRU325, touching my breast with directed light, and doing so at the moment that I capture an image of their vehicle. That's a demon, and that's the sex offender that is engaging in that demonic activity while they're monitoring you with the police. All right, 70SR662. These are minions that I'm also documenting inside of Starbucks. I'm showing you their images. They're engaging in a sex offense together while in custody of children, being sex offenders as one. Okay, touching on my breast. A demon doing so with directed light is a demon that's going to sit in a psychiatric ward. This is a Latino male with this license plate, touching my breast as well with directed light. And it's currently 12:26 p.m. License 75143E3. That's Starbucks that's engaging in touching my breast with directed light, monitoring with the people of the state who are pacing in and out of their restaurant while they're monitoring together. All right, license 8CPX175. The same. It is 12:26 p.m. All right, capturing still images. These are demons who are stalking inside. Doing so, this is what group stalking is. This ongoing systematic maintenance of presence and engineered light under what is the fake sun. They enter and exit. They're literally engaging in what is surveillance in the bathroom. So they're coming in and out, just remaining inside of the bathroom for a prolonged period, and they're taking turns doing that. And then they're walking in and out, getting their drink. It's nothing other than you're not being distracted by it. They're ordering a drink while they're engaging in group stalking at Starbucks. All right, this is supposed to appear as of which is normal ordering, and no, they're engaging in sitting in the bathroom, monitoring while flashing of directed light is occurring, while they're pacing in and out of the venue, sitting inside of the venue while they are monitoring together. And these are demons that are acting systematically together. 70SR160 are the demons. He's engaging in surveillance in the bathroom. He remains in the bathroom for a prolonged period. It's not diarrhea. It's not call of nature. It's directed light under the fake sun with the police that are stalking by helicopter, and they sit in bathrooms maintaining presence. All right, in relevant position. And that's another method of presence while they do so for a prolonged period. I'm capturing images of group stalkers who are monitoring together in the bathroom, in the parking lot, sitting in their cars, walking back and forth from their cars to back inside. That's pacing. They're doing so in this specific environment. All right, this is demonic activity. It is currently 12:41 p.m. and this is the same Starbucks where I remain, where I showed you the fake sun and the entity stalking by helicopter. 7YIJ568. And what I'm capturing in still images are their license plates. And that's another method of documentation. While you have so many of them pacing together, and I'm just showing you what are their images, they're group stalking inside of the Starbucks surrounding me and pacing in the parking lot, and I'm showing you all their images of their vehicles, the directed light. Pay attention. It's literally the evidence against the demons, but like I said, they're engaged in ongoing obsessive stalking. That's why they're going to psychiatric wards. You can see the directed light on the brick wall. Pay attention while I'm capturing their license plates. And they're doing nothing other than what is maintaining presence all around me. And this is that which law enforcement is engaging in. Law enforcement seeks to place you under surveillance through the people. That is what the system of group stalking is. And this is speaking to the demon possession of an entity engaging in that. All right. It is currently 12:42 p.m. This minion I'm showing you right now at not the overweight one with the pink top on. The one, she looks like an alien in the face. It's called, I don't know what this is. I don't know what this thing is. I'm guessing it's a female. It's a demon, I'll tell you that. This sex offender is engaging in what is molesting me with directed light while she pulls into the parking lot. She's monitoring with the minion inside of the Starbucks I captured at that time. This is an overweight Caucasian female with gray hair, covering her face with a mask. and she is monitoring with this demon license 8ACS800, who I captured in a series of images. They're engaging in demonic conduct together. They're monitoring together, and this is that teamwork. You have a demon that's standing by me inside of the Starbucks monitoring, while that demon 8ACS800 drives into a parking spot, and the implausible occurrence of what is directed light touching your person appearing inside of the inside of the building is occurring at the same time. 8DEM071 and 8YJZ492. I just want to speak to that. I want to specifically document that. She's going to a psychiatric ward. This is terrorism that the people of the state engage in, and it's not just her. I'm documenting all of them in here, but I want to specifically point that out, what she's doing and what she's doing with the rest of these minions, who I'm showing you up close images of them engaging in surveillance. While they are stalking in the bathroom, maintaining presence in the bathroom, while this light activity and the fake sun is present. This is engineered light. They are stalking as one and engaging in what is, you're sick in the head when you're stalking somebody and you go and sit in a bathroom in order to do it. So I'm just breaking this down. This is what they're doing. This is what demons are engaging in, and they're doing it on behalf of the demon possessed police. And 8ACS800, she looks like a freak, and she's engaging in the conduct of a freak. She's going to be placed where freaks belong, in a psychiatric ward. P.O.C. It's currently 12:47 p.m. All right, license 5ZJ. I can't really see the rest of them. 5ZJ863. I have it in my images right now. Let me get it. Because when I'm documenting about this, she looks like an alien. She looks very, very scary in real life, and her conduct is scary as well. She's a demon. She is molesting. This is the one I just got through. I don't know if that's a she or a he, to be honest with you, but it's wearing a cap. It's wearing a wife beater shirt, black tights, and flip-flops. And it is touching me repeatedly with directed light, flashing directed light while they're moving their vehicle, while it is moving its vehicle and parking in the parking spot in the parking lot, which is totally separate conduct, parking of cars, not relating, ever resulting in a natural environment amongst normal people, resulting in flashing of directed light into buildings and cross walls and stuff. I want to be clear, Starbucks is being prosecuted for this terrorism, facilitating it, engaging in what is the creation of an environment where this demonic terrorism and criminal activity is underway. Starbucks is directly engaged in that. So while I'm naming one and I'm reading a license plate and I'm taking pictures, it's documentation of Starbucks. Do not ever forget the big picture. Starbucks is engaging in what is repeatedly molesting my breasts and my body, terrorizing me with directed light while these demons are pacing in and out of this venue, and these demons are monitoring together. I just want to be clear on that. What I want to point out is, as I'm documenting that minion that is stalking, and doing so with license 5ZJS863, that's the license plate, they remain in relevant position in the parking lot. And as I state the fact that such freaks belong in mental wards, that demon molests again with directed light while they're driving off, that's a specific intent, all right? 7WVB298. That's the impunity that Satan acts with. And I'm specifically documenting it because that's directly relevant when I'm prosecuting you. All right, you are fearless when you're engaging in the terrorism and that criminal conduct and that stalking, and that's relevant to how long you're going to sit into a mental. If you ever get out, this is, like I said, these are ticking time bombs. I'm revealing to you what is terrorism amongst the people, which 6BJP688 engages in with the intent that the American citizen subject to it would be placed into a mental ward. No, place the actual criminals and the very violent sex offending psychopaths and stalkers that are the people of the state. And it includes the employees at Starbucks. Starbucks, the company, who you're going to prosecute criminally and civilly. You're going to drain the pockets. I'm showing you yet again what is Starbucks, another venue at a different address, the same group stalker, facilitating terrorism. Okay, so that's directly relevant while that third party is driving off and then goes out of their way to punctuate the fact that they're going into a mental ward, because that's what that's establishing. That's where they're going. While they're monitoring my documentation, that is Satan that knows exactly what I'm documenting and goes out of its way to touch me again, touch all over my body again, terrorize again with directed light before they drive off. All right, so that license plate is engaging in loitering. It's the same conduct, and it's also occurring at Starbucks. That's documenting all of that at the same time. 8GKJ519, repeating the same conduct. The Asian male you see sitting across from me, pay attention to the directed light that's on the wall behind them. That's engineered light in the shape of a gate. That's impossible light activity. It's not the sun, and that is the creation of light activity. It's literally the evidence surrounding the demon who's engaging in a sex offense while that light activity is underway, and he's keeping his eyes fixed on a laptop. He's monitoring, he's group stalking, he's a demon, and he's doing so with the female that he's sitting with. I'm just speaking to the surroundings. This is ongoing concerted activity, and pay attention to the environment, the directed light that's on the wall behind his head while he's stalking inside of Starbucks. They're all demons while that directed light is occurring inside of the venue. All right, it's currently 12:51 p.m., and this is P.O.C. All right, license 8SYV985 and 44568V1, 8XXE458. 6LCF176. 8PED198. All right, it's currently 1:52 p.m. Starbucks is a heavily documented sex offender engaging in terrorizing and placing American citizens under surveillance. And that's exactly what they're continuously doing in concert with the demons who are pacing all around the Starbucks building and in vehicles. This demonic pattern of conduct Starbucks is directly engaging in. Starbucks is sponsoring it, facilitating it, and Starbucks is engaging in monitoring American citizens with law enforcement agencies across this country. You need to know that. What I'm documenting right now is Starbucks is engaging in ongoing sex offense, and this is while I'm engaging in what is another activity online. I'm publishing my video documentation on YouTube, and the entity that is aware of that begins, well, not begins because they've been engaging in this, but this is the entity that seeks to harass you while you publish the documentation. So you have these demons coming out of the drive-thru of Starbucks. You have these demons inside of the Starbucks working here. The noises that you hear, these demons are stalking with audible activity using that noise, flashing direct light inside of the venue, and also violating my person. That's the sex offender that's demon possessed, molesting me with direct light, touching my body with direct light, while they're aware of the fact that I'm uploading videos right now, 1:53 p.m. onto YouTube, which you will see online as well. 8WMD068 is one of those demons, 7WGG518, and the minions are engaged in that ongoing pattern of stalking and surveillance. This is the conduct of Satan. Understand what's the pattern. The sex offender violates you while you seek to report the fact that you're subject to that sexual violence. The stalker intends to terrorize and intimidate and harass you while you seek to report the fact that they're stalking you. And it's not funny. It's just in speaking to what's entirely revealing a very dangerous psychopath. These are the ticking bombs, and let me be clear, those demons, they work for Starbucks. And this is the prosecution of Starbucks, the people of the state, as a violent sex offender. The demon-possessed stalking with noise while they're preparing drinks for the demons who are stalking inside of the Starbucks venue and driving all around them. This is demonic conduct, and it's 1:54 p.m. P.O.C. Alrighty, the big fat sweaty thing with the yellow bandana on her head, like a head warmer. I don't know. She's already sweating and she's really large. She's got a yellow backpack. She works at Starbucks, or at least she's working at Starbucks. While the entity is molesting my breasts, my upper portion of my body, just touching all over my head, my face with directed light, in any way that Satan can try to harass me, while they're monitoring the fact that I'm uploading the video of the fake sun over me at 10:58 a.m., which is not possibly the sun, as I captured it directly over my head over the Starbucks while I'm in Chino, California, which is directly over that roof. Remember that video? Satan is very hostile to that. These are demons. Let me be clear. Starbucks is going to be placed on the map with regard to its criminal conduct and the sex offenders that work for Starbucks, the demon-possessed that work for Starbucks. Demon possession is very directly relevant to the ways in which you're going to be operating your businesses in this country. I want to be clear, because the demon-possessed are the ones that are facilitating surveillance while the entity is engaged in essentially commercial stalking on behalf of the state that's placing American citizens under surveillance. So I want to be clear. This overweight minion is monitoring and is a sex offender. You see her studying her communication device. She's standing at the bar, then she walks back to the table. That's the most exercise she's ever gotten while she's stalking and molesting me with directed light, while demons such as license 6FVR083 cross path, and that molestation is underway while she's stalking in the restaurant. With the minion who you see with the glasses on his head, he's got on the light green shirt. He's studying his communication device. He's a violent sex offender, a highly demented, demon-possessed group stalker who was molesting my body with directed light while demons are engaging and repeating that conduct over and over again while I proceed to upload my documentation, which is very damning against the people of the state, specifically Starbucks. I want to be clear, Starbucks is sponsoring state surveillance and terrorism amongst the government. Where I'm capturing this video, Starbucks is group stalking with the Montclair police who are stalking by helicopter while I'm standing in the parking lot of Starbucks. The fake sun is over my head while I'm standing at the parking lot of Starbucks. Where the demon-possessed are molesting with direct light while I am standing in the parking lot of Starbucks, where, by the way, right now at 2:11 p.m., the fake sun remains right over this venue. All right, the entity is, pay attention to the direct light behind this demon's head with the green shirt on. Direct light's covering the umbrella, the green umbrella, the Starbucks umbrella. That's impossible light activity. Speaking to, again, as you capture that, it's speaking to the ongoing maintenance of presence of the fake sun, which is an impossible occurrence while it's, again, remaining over me at Victoria Gardens at the same time. And remember, where I went to Victoria Gardens, I remained at the Blaine Public Library that day. The sun is not over this parking lot while it's remaining over me, as I documented also on that day. And it's the same with being over me outside of the window of the Fontana Lewis Library over the computer lab. The entity kept the fake sun the whole day over that Fontana Lewis Library. At no time is it on Central Avenue, over this Starbucks, over the roof, aiming over my head through the window. And under no circumstances is the sun resulting in what is horizontally shooting light into buildings and across your body. No, that's a sex offender. That's demon-possessed, serving Satan, engaged in criminal conduct for which it's going into psychiatric wards for that. I'm talking about Starbucks employees. I'm talking about the demon-possessed minions who are group stalking with Starbucks, inside of Starbucks, and in around Starbucks, because they're minions who are hostile while you document them. It's the ongoing pattern, okay? It's currently 2:12 p.m., and this is Starbucks that's also engaged in criminal conduct, sexual violence, terrorism, monitoring with the government, with children, okay? I want to be clear on that. That's the reality of that company, and that company represents the people of the state. That is the identity of the people of the state in general. And you need to know the people of the state are going by the name of, understand, who is no exception. Starbucks is no exception. Target is no exception, as my evidence is direct evidence. Excuse me, as my documentation is direct evidence of that. All right? It's currently 2:13 p.m. and this is P.O.C. at Starbucks in Montclair, California. All right, the demons you see on video at 3:03 p.m. These are the ones who I've captured still images of. They are group stalking with the Montclair Police Department. License 8PJB853, I believe, but I don't think that's correct. I will recite the correct license. Well, I actually have it on video, and I also have their still images. But this is a third party that is a group stalking with Starbucks, with the Montclair Police Department, the people of the state. This is the ongoing conduct on behalf of an entity. And I'm actually breaking down for you what is demonic activity as it's underway. BV53W58. That's a paper plate. Engaging in the ongoing demonic behavior, which I am capturing also in video, which I've captured in thousands of videos. But you have the entity that is stalking the path. They are driving under the fake sun. The fake sun remains over the same exact Starbucks where I was at 10:58 in the morning, showing you while I'm in the same parking lot outside of the same Starbucks. I then enter the Starbucks and I believe it's 11:05. I capture the fake suns directly over my head at the same Starbucks. This is hours later. From 12 p.m. I capture video at 12 p.m. showing you the fake sun over the roof of the same exact Starbucks. And I stepped out at 3:03 p.m. so that you can see the maintenance of that light source. This is the fake sun that remains directly over the roof of the same exact Starbucks, in perfect alignment with me, where I am standing as I'm standing outside of the same exact venue. And what also is occurring, that's the reference to the demonic, okay? And these demons that are pacing around in that environment, 7TSH681, 8LGD055, 791CSF, I believe that's out of state, or T91CSF rather. That's an out of state license plate. What I'm capturing in this video at 3:03 p.m., which is capturing in and of itself an impossible occurrence, that the sun, the natural environment, would result in the sun remaining over this specific Starbucks on this specific street, over that specific roof, over my head specifically where I'm standing. And not only that, but you have for a series of hours as I remain at this venue. This is the pattern of conduct that I'm showing you everywhere that I go. And the employees that you see wearing Starbucks aprons, those are all demons. They're all demon possessed. They're all stalking with the people of the state. T91CSF is that license plate's in out of state. 7VIH731 or 713, excuse me. These are minions who are crossing paths, and they're repeatedly engaging in what is molesting me with engineered light while they're monitoring. And they're also demons who are hostile. Let me be clear, the demons who are working here, Starbucks, those are hostile demons as well. They are relying upon what is that sexual violence and demonic activity by minions who are crossing path in vehicles. Starbucks is equally engaging in what is satanic targeting conduct with the Montclair police, who also cross path on the street with their lights and sirens at this time at 3:03 p.m. where the fake sun is remaining for a series of hours. This is duration of the day conduct with the fake sun over you, over the specific building where you're inside of. This is what I'm showing you where I'm inside of the Upland Public Library. At no time would the sun ever be over the Upland Public Library at, for example, 12 p.m., let alone 10 o'clock in the morning, let alone 10:35 in the morning, as I've shown, for example, 8VER194. And 8YJZ492 has been engaged in prolonged surveillance at this venue where the fake sun has remained for these series of hours as I'm documenting it. So the entity engaging in this conduct, but the entity is engaging in conduct as though that's the sun over the Upland Public Library, where they're stalking in the bathroom, where they're stalking with audible activity, like the baristas inside of the baristas inside of Starbucks are. All right, stalking with noise. At the library, they're stalking with the closure of doors. They're stalking with slamming of books on shelves, whatever they have at their disposal, and they're demons. and they're doing so in what is directed light, while the entity keeps directed light inside of the Upland Public Library, as though that's the sun remaining over the roof of that Upland Public Library all day long. Okay, and by all day long, I mean I'm there at the Upland Public Library before the time of entry. But even as I go in at the time of entry at 10 o'clock, when I exit after 6:30 p.m., the fake sun remains right there. The entity keeping directed light inside of that venue of the Upland Public Library until my point of entry, which I even show you inside of the venue where it's aiming it diagonally through the exit doors. That's impossible light activity. It's also impossible while the entity is keeping the fake sun over this Starbucks on Central Avenue in Montclair, California. That is occurring within an ongoing pattern of what are demons, and this is how you know that they are demons, because they're in that environment, which is impossible to exist naturally. You're talking about what's necessarily more than one sun. If it's remaining over the Upland Public Library, then it's not remaining over the Starbucks at the same time over the roof. That's not occurring at the same time. It's directly over the roof over my head. And it's also speaking to what is the necessarily, it's more than one sun. Oh, but that's not what science suggests. Science says that there's one sun. So you're talking about what is impossible any way that you try to address it. This is demonic. This is what I'm showing you. Okay? This is the demonic environment, and these are demons who are also, I'm capturing in video, while they're driving vehicles, and light is manifesting all over the ground. While those demons are doing the exact same conduct, driving cars, that light is reaching even farther into the Starbucks to molest my body where I sit inside of the Starbucks cafe. All right, that light is concentrated on the asphalt where I'm standing while I'm outside capturing that video. Those demons doing the exact same thing as they're driving out of the Starbucks drive-thru. Every single employee is engaging in that. Employee of Starbucks, and you're also going to prosecute the company itself. But I have these very employees. And let me be clear, the entity that's monitoring documentation will place somebody else to work here and wear an apron. And they're not avoiding anything. Whoever you want to put in an apron inside of Starbucks, you're still going to prosecute Starbucks, the company, and you're also going to document and prosecute those minions who are engaging in criminal activity on behalf of the Montclair Police. But I want to be clear, the Starbucks, it's not just Starbucks, but venues that I document, they engage in swapping out employees, putting out different faces for those who are ordinarily here, and then they change the identity, and then as I return to a venue, say for example I haven't been there for a while, they'll bring back those old employees in order to maintain consistency with regard to who it is that has been captured and published on the internet. Okay, so understand that. But that's no mystery. All right, and the federal government that's being apprised of this criminal system is not. You're not going to remain ignorant to that either. 8 RCE 199. Directed light flashing inside while these minions that are wearing Starbucks aprons are group stalking and engaging in that very sex offense. Let me be clear, molestation by directed light, this is molestation by an entity engaged in federal stalking. That is a sex offense by a bunch of demons who are molesting your body. A very serious sex offense, which Starbucks has provided a wealth of documentation that it is fully engaged in facilitating and engages in with impunity. And that's exactly what you're seeing in that video. They're group stalking with the Montclair Police, who drives on Central Avenue under the fake sun that's remaining over the Starbucks, with the people of the state with whom they're monitoring, walking in to engage in that ongoing group stalking conduct. Okay, 7BZJ257. This is what I captured at 3:03 p.m. 3:03 p.m. is a timestamp. This is just a specific example, so I picked 3:03 p.m. I have video documentation, for example, Fontana Lewis Library. The fake sun is remaining directly over me while the Fontana Police Department are stalking just like the Montclair Police Department. 7UWX452 in what is an impossible environment, while that ongoing demonic activity of stalking with directed light remains underway. Fully documented at the Fontana Lewis Library. That is not the sun that's over the Fontana Lewis Library while I'm inside of the Starbucks in Montclair, California. And that's also not sunlight that's going to appear when you're driving a car and light is not shooting inside of the venue. Like I said, the demon possessed are providing that ongoing body of evidence against itself. I've already shown it to you. And then you're talking about what is just providing more documentation to your own demise. And let me be clear, every person in the state of California is going to be prosecuted for federal group stalking and monitoring. This is what the state of California, the entire state of California, is engaging in. And while the entire state of California is engaging in what is federal group stalking and monitoring, while I am Montclair, the allegedly exclusive sun is remaining over one building in Montclair over me at the Starbucks. That's to the exclusion of Los Angeles, San Francisco, every other city and county is remaining over me. And you know why that is? Because this is where the entity is engaging in federal group stalking and monitoring. But guess what? It's sunny in San Francisco and downtown Los Angeles. You know why? Because you have what is a state system that's underway, AWAU 711, and there is a light source that's remaining over the people of the state who are demon-possessed, engaging in this targeting system, which I've revealed it to you. Because you'll see that. You look at the news, you look at reality TV, you step outside if you're in Northern California somewhere. Oh, you'll see a light source. you'll see what's a sunny day. But it's impossible that that would be the case. Well, I'm showing you what's exactly over my head for a duration of hours at this Starbucks in Montclair, California, which is impossible to be the case under any circumstances when a wealth of documentation is suggesting that the sun is remaining over the Upland Public Library day in and day out, all day long, and then following me back to Holt and Euclid Avenue, where the sun is then setting across the street, where the sun is rising over me in Ontario, California, where the Ontario police are group stalking day and night by demon-possessed police officers, just like you saw the Montclair police doing, and stalking me by helicopter, just like you saw the Montclair Police Department doing today. C671C handicap, 88DE088. Stalking with that same police department, the Montclair police, okay? And that directed light is concentrated shooting horizontally as opposed to moving all over the asphalt next to me while I'm standing next to those demons who are crossing path, all right? That's exactly what they provided on documentation and video. That's what I captured under the fake sun with the Montclair police while engaging in directed light conduct, the specific signature of demons. Demons are going to be prosecuted for criminal conduct. Demons are engaging in terrorism. Demons are engaging in what is monitoring you and then trying to defame you. That's why they're going to sit in psychiatric wards. And I mean any Starbucks employee. That's why they're going to federal prison. I mean any demon-possessed law enforcement agency officer, and that's exactly what their condition is. It's a matter of objective evidence. That's exactly what their criminal conduct is. It's criminal monitoring, group stalking. And you're talking about what is psychiatric wards, straitjackets, and federal prison. Okay, as I have documented this directed light conduct, oh, you're a psychopath. You're going to sit down in a psychiatric ward in a straitjacket while they engage in it. Look at the video. They're looking right at me. They're stalking in plain sight while minions are monitoring and molesting me with directed light. While the demons of the police then sound sirens driving by, audible activity, and they're stalking in plain sight, looking dead at my face, stalking me, threatening to. You're going to remove that threat from the public. And it's by the thousands. The people of the state are doing this by the thousands. 8BDE088 is the correct license plate, engaging in surveillance, directed light shooting inside of the Starbucks, where these employees who you see on video, who I've been capturing in images, who are engaging in what is conduct on behalf of the company Starbucks is going to be prosecuted under federal law. They can move in whatever face they want and put on an apron on them. Starbucks itself is a method of identifying the people of the state, and you're going to prosecute civilly and criminally. And then also it's going to trickle down to what are the very minions who are wearing these Starbucks aprons, engaging in this scene out of hell, while they're engaging in this criminal conduct, this unfathomable level of criminal activity which they're facilitating. And they're doing it with the demon-possessed police agencies. You're going to deal with each aspect of that actor, because this is one entity acting directly and vicariously. Each aspect of that actor, you're going to deal with it accordingly. The people of the state and the entity that's acting directly, the demon-possessed police departments. Okay, so it's currently 3:29 p.m. and I just want to speak to what it is that I'm capturing on video, what it is that I'm uploading, the sexual violence that Starbucks and the people of the state are engaging in while they are sitting around monitoring my documentation and still engaging in that obsessive stalking conduct. There is no question with regard to what the entity is doing. The entity is following me day and night by helicopter. I am being absolutely comprehensive in my documentation, showing you, okay, yeah, the fake sun remains here, but there's already an established pattern. There's no question about what the entity is doing. In the environment that I've established is remaining, which is a scientific impossibility, capturing the demonic. There's no question with regard to, and there is no question because I've established the pattern. It is unreasonable to suggest that at some point the pattern just stops. That's not what's going on. I've already established that, but I go to the nth degree and I'm showing you what is the fake sun that's over me at yet a different venue. I've never sat inside of this Starbucks, certainly never remained on this let me see, across the street from Costco, this where the 10 freeway is. I've never remained inside of this venue, but with regard to what is present, this is that ongoing environment that remains present, as though this is the only place where the sun is rising and setting. This is what the entity does, and as though sunlight ricochets off of vehicles while you're driving like it's a laser light show. This is demonic. Okay, demonic activity is very, very real, and the demon-possessed engage in targeting you and stalking you. They're very much acquainted with and interested and consumed with, which is a terrorizing threat, which is predatory, with what's going on with your panties. That's also what I'm documenting. And these demons, this is the same entity that engaged in kidnapping. Understand that. The Montclair Police Department is kidnapping. That's the same entity. It's a superficial distinction to go from Ontario to Upland to Montclair. Understand that. The same exact environment, the same exact demonic behavior, the same exact stalking. This is the state. This entity is engaging in this criminal system while then they are kidnapping. You do not have any, you're talking about what is psychopaths who are stalking, the directed light you see, and then they're standing around in a museum, in the library, the public library, talking about, I'm calling them names. And then the police who are stalking show up talking about, oh, I'm taking pictures of them in the nude. Now, you'll pay attention, there is no third party there that is presenting evidence of the fact that I engaged in taking pictures of them in the naked. You notice the absence of that third party. You notice how they're focusing on me. You notice how they never stepped into the bathroom to break down the logistics of what I was telling them, that's impossible, that is even an allegation. And you know why they're not stepping into the bathroom? You know why they're not actually conducting an investigation? Because they're monitoring 8WK8007 with that same entity. They're going to federal prison. Okay? And that's kidnapping. While you are not engaging in any investigation, you don't need to conduct an investigation. You're stalking. And you're trying to intimidate and harass someone who's documenting it. And for that, you go to federal prison. For that, you sit in psychiatric wards. That's a psychopath that does that. That's a psychopath that's engaging in criminal conduct, which is also communicating as though you're impervious to the law. You're not above the law. I will prosecute you under the law. I will create additional law in order to further prosecute you with regard to the specific criminal acts that you're engaging in as the violent psychopath and the threat that you are to the public. That's the entity that's stalking me at Starbucks. It's not different because I'm in Upland. It's the same exact entity. That's exactly what I documented. And then those demons engage in what is an arrest. That's an assault and battery. That's a kidnapping by an entity engaged in federal stalking. That's a psychopath engaging in stalking on an ongoing basis while they are exercising fictitious authority under the law. Understand that. How unfathomable, how reprehensible that is. That's Satan. Okay, and Satan is engaging in stalking and molesting over and over. You're talking about Starbucks, who you're naming the entity. All right, there's no sense of anonymity. Starbucks is a sex offender and is molesting my body repeatedly over and over again while I'm also reporting the fact that Starbucks is doing so, and Starbucks is such a violent sex offender that it's continuously doing so. And then trying to threaten me while stalking with the police who are stalking me by helicopter, stalking me by sounding their sirens and using their lights while they are aware of the fact that they're being documented. That's the reality of what the people of the state via Starbucks are engaging in. That's how that analysis goes. It's group conduct. And this same group engaged in kidnapping, as I documented. This same group stalking day and night while I'm sleeping outside at the museum, whether I go to Starbucks in Montclair, or whether I'm sleeping in a car outside of 630 North Fern, stalking by helicopter, under a fake sun. The same exact conduct at all same venues. At all of those venues that I just mentioned, excuse me. That's the P.O.C. That's why they're going to federal prison. You are going to federal prison, all right? You have what are psychopaths that engage in conduct to their own demise. This is a template, 8NET940, sitting in a psychiatric ward because of the psychopath that it is, molesting somebody while they are engaging in demonic conduct. C6716, that's a Nevada plate pacing around. The license plate 7SMP075 pacing around, and they are stalking, pacing around on behalf of the Montclair Police, which is the same entity as the Upland Police, which is the same entity as the Ontario Police, who are group stalking together. City to city, county to county, bathroom stall to bathroom stall, intersection to intersection, okay? Demons alike. All right, it is currently 3:34 p.m. and so I just want to expound upon the significance of the video that I captured. And you need to look at it. It's currently published on YouTube. This is where all my documentation is published right now. I am still uploading my documentation, my images specifically onto the Google Drive, which you can access through my website, thepatternofconduct.wordpress.com. Because the button and the button is, again, for every day. This is how I itemize my documentation by date, keeping it organized by date, except with regard to what are fictitious prosecutions. And they are fictitious prosecutions. The government has no legal authority, no authority under the law while it's the criminal placing you under surveillance. And that's what I'm documenting. The courts, the police, the sheriffs engaging in, and they're going to federal prison for that. And you're talking about what is also necessary, the disturbing revelation of their mindset. These are the demon-possessed, the same psychopaths that are stalking, molesting with light, sitting in group stalking inside of Starbucks. Those psychopaths are sitting in the courts, sitting in the sheriff's office, sitting in the police departments, as I've shown you. And then they have the audacity to engage in what is you're going to somehow exercise authority under the law as though you have any. You're talking about delusional psychopaths, and I'm naming them. I'm naming them by courts. I'm naming them by license numbers, that whatever their names are, because they're going to federal prison. What the people of the state are doing, these court systems are doing, and then they're sitting with a straight face, that's Satan, sitting in a court as though they have authority. Okay, so I'm breaking down the system, and this is what I mean by the entity revealing itself. You're prosecuting yourself. It's to your own demise. But that is helpful because when I say they're going into a straight jacket, that's exactly what I mean. All right, license 8UND364, and this is why. The judge is engaging in the exercise of fictitious authority, because that's exactly what it is. You're a criminal, and you're thinking you're going to harass and intimidate someone with a fictitious case. You're placing me under surveillance. You know exactly who I am. This is a criminal act of harassment while you're monitoring me, and a criminal act of obstruction of justice, while you have also been engaged in what is entirely fictitious prosecutions seeking to defame me, while you are engaging in the criminal conduct that I'm documenting at this Starbucks. Are you serious? Yes, they're going to federal prison, and they're going in straitjackets. So anyway, it's 3:36 p.m. So I just want to remind you, what's the bigger picture? Don't ever be distracted, because I'm not. Don't be distracted by what Satan is doing. You cannot distract from what is a fake sun. When you are stalking me by a helicopter under a fake sun, it is more evidence against the as to the fact that you are stalking the fake sun itself when you're stalking in a helicopter. I mean, and this is what I mean, what's so profound about Satan, that hops in a helicopter and thinks that I'm going to be distracted by that, or that you would be distracted by that because I'm looking at that helicopter with my camcorder instead of the fake sun. No, I'm going to veer over to the fake sun as well, and the directed light that's surrounding, and it is more evidence of what is the pattern of conduct of group stalking. The entity that is group stalking by helicopter is group stalking by helicopter under the fake sun, and is group stalking at all hours in that demonic environment. Okay, so this is what I'm saying, and this is why you are, that's why I'm just documenting, and all I'm doing is reminding you, it takes a specific type of mind to be able to put together for you to witness what is a pattern of conduct. It takes a certain type of mind to not be deterred from what is entirely diminished. These are demons that are attacking me at one time. All right, but these are demons that are already defeated. So what are you doing with your directed light conduct? You're going to wind up in a straitjacket where you belong as a matter of justice, because I will not tolerate an American citizen being subject to this level of terrorism by any demon driving a police vehicle, by any demon flying a helicopter, by any demon flying a commercial airline plane, by any demon driving a United States Postal Service vehicle, by any demon working in Target or in Starbucks, or any other third-party facilitating venue. It's intolerable, and you're going into straitjackets. While they would seek to defame the target individual, understand there are kidnappings that are underway right now, and so you are creating what is justice, and placing the ticking time bomb that are the people of the state, the ticking time bomb that are these corrupt agencies, as I'm revealing it, the government itself, where they belong in federal prison and mental facilities, which you're necessarily going to have to build more. Because the entities engaged in this criminal act, it's by the numbers. And I'm documenting what's going on in the state of New York, in the state of Missouri, in Mississippi, in Texas, in Nevada. You need to understand, this is what's going on. Because there's only one sun. And the one sun is remaining over me in Montclair, California. That's how you know what's going on in the rest of this country. All right? And you're getting a raw exhibit of it, or going to very desperate extents, which is to its own demise. While you provide me documentation of you're indeed stalking me and molesting me with directed light, this is the template, because this is how you're going to prosecute those psychopaths that are terrorizing American citizens. You're going to bind them up and put them in straitjackets and have them sit down for a very long time. 7 TSG 336. They're going to have a seat in a psychiatric ward. All right, and they're not getting out, because demon possession is a matter of what is criminal conduct. This is demon possession that seeks to falsely depict the American citizen subject to it, to defamation, and then a kidnapping by that entity that's exercising fictitious authority, while it's the criminal placing you under surveillance and terrorizing you. Because nobody's going to believe that you're being molested with what is something you can't even describe with words. It's called directed light, as I've termed it. All right, but you're that demon that's terrorizing you and seeks to get away with it, and does so threatening you in your face, repeatedly so, while demons repeat that after them, one after another, and then that you're supposed to be depicted as some paranoid schizophrenic. No. Justice requires that psychopath, because that's by definition a psychopath, that psychopath is going into a straitjacket. Okay? And I'm not being funny when I'm describing it that way. That's exactly where they belong. And that's exactly where they're going, in addition to what is federal prison. All right? It's currently 3:40 p.m., and this is the pattern of conduct at Starbucks. Where supposedly the only sun that exists, the single star, is remaining over this Starbucks, which is a scientific impossibility. Literally, as I stepped outside to show you that video to capture that video at 3:03 p.m. I was here at 10:58 in the morning. All right? That's P.O.C. 9AYF900, 7RSE014, 8RCG272, 7MDV655. 8YYP590, 8UZZ996. Let's see, 8TGT697. 6XDU377. 8NIU248. Alright, you'll see these demons engaging in surveillance inside a Starbucks. Capturing the female. She's a heavy-set female with a cap on her head. She's got a tattoo on her left arm. In operation of a communication device, she's standing in perfect alignment with me. And the African-American male, he's bald-headed. These are just a pair of demons who are walking in. The entity's engaging in ongoing pacing, so they're walking in and out, in and out, in and out. And again, their form for surveillance at Starbucks is they're walking in and out getting drinks. They're group stalking while the entity is flashing directed light, and this is at now nightfall. This is demonic conduct and doing so day and night. It is currently 8:34 p.m. What you'll see is impossible light on the wall of the Starbucks right next to where I'm sitting. That's impossible light activity. It's demons that are stalking inside of this Starbucks, monitoring, while the entity is keeping this light activity inside of the venue. I want to make sure you can hear me. License plate 8XLF218. This is surveillance that's underway, and the entity is stalking with light inside of the Starbucks, 8GGN801, and this is at nightfall. Okay, so like I said, the same directed light conduct, it doesn't have anything to do with obviously it doesn't have anything to do with the sun because sunlight doesn't do that, but I'm telling you that these demons, their demonic conduct has nothing to do with actually being under the fake sun, so it's not like activated by Satan's act of placing a light source over me. This is the conduct of the demon possessed. Satan itself engages in this conduct with light during the day and at nightfall. License 8UGT767. And the blinds are down inside of the Starbucks. This demon is stalking inside of this ortho mattress store. Yep, I'm documenting him. He's engaged in criminal conduct. So are you. It's currently 8:35 p.m. So the entity is aiming directed light, which you can see a line of directed light on the wall inside of the Starbucks. That's what I was stating. And these demons are pacing in and out of the Starbucks and engaging in surveillance sitting in the Starbucks. And every employee working at Starbucks is engaging in the pattern of conduct as well. That's why that impossible light activity is present. Alrighty, and so I captured that light. It's a line of blue light. It's just sitting there on the wall right next to me. It's impossible light. That's an act of terrorism. In the same way demons stalking with light activity, it's an act of terrorism. The entity engaging what are the elements of monitoring while they are together, chasing you down, following you everywhere, entirely demented conduct, and then they're standing around ordering drinks, stalking. All you got to do is look at the light activity around, and you're looking at these psychopaths that are stalking you. Okay, and so that's what I captured. It's a blue tinted directed light and a line on this wall next to me. That's engineered light, and that's the mark of demon possession. It's the mark of, first of all, federal group stalking and monitoring. And this is what the employees and these demons who are present as third-party patrons group stalking inside of the Starbucks. The ongoing pattern of conduct. I'm just speaking to what is ongoing as I'm capturing pictures, and these demons who are walking in and out of the Starbucks engaging in ongoing surveillance. I mean, demons are very demented. Period. All I'm doing is showing you the proof of it. In case you didn't know, now you do know. It's 8:37 p.m. This is P.O.C. at Starbucks. All right, license plate 6FYN437 and 13023. That is an out-of-state plate. This is the company. It's a large truck. The group stalking was Starbucks at Starbucks. This is GSF. That's the acronym on that. I'll get the front license plate as well. This is stalking with light activity. They're molesting with directed light. I was about to say, are you kidding? I've already shown you these are demons, and they're using businesses, and you're going to prosecute those businesses. The same demon stalking with directed light under a fake sun, stalking at nightfall with directed light. I showed you the line of blue light on the wall inside of the Starbucks. 7ZNT575, engaging in group stalking. And this is a company, this is a demon operating a commercial vehicle, engaging in state surveillance and terrorism. This is a demon engaging in that on behalf of the state. Golden State Foods, that's the acronym. GSF. Stalking the path with light activity. This is massive facilitation. And this is a demon. That brand is being carried with, this is the trucking company, EV0 Emissions, QCD Quality Custom Distribution. They're monitoring. And they're engaging in terrorism. This is demonic, what QCD is engaged in. The MC number, 181461, US.30681. And the license plate is 9G41013. And they're molesting with 7ZNT575, demons, 6AAG947, 8CLM191. And the name of this plaza, because Starbucks is inside of a plaza, a shopping plaza, understand, Montclair shops, this entire venue is monitoring, has been engaged in monitoring. While I'm documenting Starbucks, understand I'm documenting the rest of them as well. DBSV 695, and it spans beyond this plaza as well, understand that. This is criminal monitoring, and it spans a radius. All right, these demon-possessed police agencies are monitoring through everybody, massive presence, okay? License plate. 6FYN437, sex offender. I'm gonna prosecute them. License BU03W92, paper 94692V1, 7KT2121, 7KIZ121, 5XMT056. Group stalking in the parking lot, standing around monitoring. It's 8:55 p.m. Shop. Again, it's called the Montclair Shops. It's right across the street from Costco. And this is on Central Avenue, where the entity kept a fake sign literally over Central Avenue, over the Starbucks all day long, as I captured at 6:10 p.m. License plate 7B91320, molesting. 7CGA827. License plate 6RAK265. Unless you want to give me your name, I don't have nothing else to say to you. License 6RVL702. That's GSM, the minion that's monitoring at Starbucks. That acronym again. Okay, delivering food to the facilitating venue is no form. GSF, okay? Golden Store Foods, monitoring American citizens, okay? That's not just monitoring, that's terrorism, demonic activity. When you have directed light on a wall sitting next to your head, an impossible presence, the maintenance of a fake sun over your head, delivering food to the venue is literally a confession, okay? And this is license 6RAK265 monitoring, 6RVL702 monitoring. Obsessive stalking documented at Starbucks all day long. That's what this is obsessive stalking, demonic stalking. The Wiener Schnitzel right adjacent to the Montclair shops, they're engaged in the pattern of conduct, engaging in the use of what Wiener Schnitzel has to offer. Nothing, no good food there, and no good people there either. Demons engaging in surveillance, as I showed you, the fake sun and directed light. Demons engaging what is ongoing pacing around whatever venue for purposes of relevant positioning. Even if it was an abandoned building, those demons will be using that property as a maintenance, as a means of maintenance of presence around me where I am at, where the fake sun is over me and directed light surrounds me. 5HVC320. And Wiener Schnitzel is at 9419 Central Avenue in Montclair, California. License 8SPF900, coming over, driving into the parking lot to engage in crossing the path. The entity stalking above by aircraft, 8YWG896. And again, that is license 8SPF908. License 7XAA975. Yeah. Ongoing demonic pacing. When you're understanding what they're doing in the environment, you understand that these are demons pacing on the streets and traffic. And the same with their demons pacing, entering it and exiting Starbucks. 5XPY326. All right, it's demonic pacing. It's the conduct of psychopaths. You have a population of people that are placing specific citizens under surveillance, and it's a demonic population that's engaging in this. All right, they are the minions of the devil itself. 90801N1. Monitoring inside of Al Pastor Taqueria. They're monitoring. Alrighty, and I'm showing you a group stalker. She was standing there at that register, putting her phone up. That demon knows that I'm documenting. She put her phone down real quick. She doesn't even need to hold her phone up. She's in relevant position. She's been monitoring. This restaurant's been monitoring. This venue's been monitoring all day. Okay, but I want to be clear. That demon knows very well what I'm saying, where I'm at, who I am. And at the moment that I change to camera mode, she immediately puts her phone down and resumes to appear as though she's focused at the register, putting things away. She's a group stalker. Okay, that's why the entity kept a fake sign over me at that specific address of the Starbucks in Montclair today. The identification of Starbucks as a group stalker in this country, by the way. And let me be clear, Starbucks is not only monitoring in the U.S. I'm showing you what's going on in the world, and it's demonic. 8KXX679, 7ZQA970. It's 9:04 p.m. C license 00884M2. All right, GSM and every other facilitating venue. This is the people of the state in general. Understand how the analysis goes. I captured hundreds of images of the people of the state and license plates and company names and state actors, for example. And they're prosecuted as a sex offender together. 8VZA918. License 8TWJ004. This is the exact same entity that was stalking this morning, flying in circles above the vehicle that I am inside of, outside of 630 North Fern, for approximately 35 to 45 minutes. This is the same exact entity. 6GIT746, 6URX246. This is the same exact entity that represents what is Union Pacific. Group stalking, documenting Union Pacific, in other words, all day, engaging in sexually molesting me while I'm sitting inside of the cafe of Starbucks in Montclair, California. Under what is the fake sentence, the direct evidence with which you're going to prosecute Union Pacific, which represents the people of the state. This is the prosecution of the state of California. The state of California is group stalking with the people of the state. The people of the state shall be prosecuted as the criminals and the violent sex offenders and terrorists that they are. It's 9:05 p.m. So understand the totality of that documentation of everything I gathered today. 6SMF763, 8WVD666, 9BBN109, 7BKJ165, 8RPU171, 8GCS117, 8JIH730, 8JIH730. Already engaging in pacing around, ongoing terrorism, molesting, shooting light horizontally through windows. 7K0090, 7K00090. These are sex offenders going to that extent to touch me, all right, to terrorize, to stalk, and monitor. Doing it as the gang of demons that they are, psychopaths, many of whom are going into federal prison and are going to psychiatric wards where they belong based on their criminal conduct, which is a matter of objective evidence. It's no here, he say, she say, none of that. 8RRP592. That the people are demons is a matter of evidence. What do you think directed light is, in case you didn't know? That's direct evidence of what is a demon. A demon that is stalking you and stalking you on behalf of the police, that's called terrorism. That's exactly how it's going to be prosecuted. A demon that is stalking you in bathrooms, a violent sex offender engaging in terrorism. 8HRP644, 02912X2, 8SJB633. These are the demon possessed engaging in ongoing molestation. They are stalking and have been stalking, pacing around Starbucks all day long, while the entity is pacing around in the parking lot and pacing in and out of the cafe while molesting my body all day long. This is that sexual aspect of the demon possessed who are violating your body routinely while they are stalking you obsessively. And they are aware of the fact that you're documenting it. Yes, they're going in straitjackets. License plate. 8YJJ552. 8WWL562, 17507V2, 7YGT046, 8WZC654, 8GKS957, 9ANY169, 8WMT835, 8GGN589, 6VVH352, 8YBU168, 8UNF368, I believe. License 6FUP210, And it is 9:08 p.m. And GSF is facilitating group stalking right now using that truck. That is light activity in directed light. I don't care how far ahead that schedule, or if there is a schedule of delivering food or whatever products to Starbucks, it's facilitation. 6P CH837. And that's how you're striking through, breaking through what is this corrupt system where the people of the state are stalking, period. 88TK463 on behalf of the state. 7BIN 603. 7BCT 943, and that's what is controlling, by the way. While you have directed light, and you could talk about, oh, I scheduled this delivery weeks ago. Okay, well, directed light is what controls, and you're engaging in the federal group stalking and monitoring on behalf of the state of California. You're going to be prosecuted for that, period. License 76784V1 6YHR 962. And you also have what is 7JCW 462, I believe, molesting. Molesting while I'm standing outside on the sidewalk, molesting while I'm sitting inside of the cafe. That's what they're doing right now. Okay? That's why every third party that I'm identifying, these are the third parties that are, again, I've documented those who are going to federal prison as a matter of justice. And I'm continuously documenting those who are going to sit in mental wards. Okay? They're threats to the public while they engage in this sort of conduct. Obsessively stalking and molesting. 5 NID 689 7ZPD 062. And that's exactly what they're doing right now, molesting with light. This light is what they're shooting into, and I'm saying shooting because there's no other way to describe it. There is no iteration of any sort of light activity that's going to result in light shooting horizontally through a window in order to touch any portion of my body at all. At all, ever. Light is also not shooting and hitting the wall next to my person. All right, I captured that in a still image. It's a blatant act of stalking with light, as I have documented. All right, this is what demons are doing. While you're sitting in a drive-thru for Wiener Schnitzel, you're a demon and you're shown exactly for that. And you're stalking. And if you want to call yourself delivering food like GSM, you can call yourself doing whatever you want. In directed light, you're a stalker and you're a demon that's stalking. And it's entirely demented. Entirely demented. It is actually more than, it's straight out of the pit of hell. And it's criminal conduct. All right, group stalking at Wiener Schnitzel. This is a group stalker that's monitoring AGCS117. Oh my God, it's called audible activity. She's stalking with activity, walking out toward the dumpster. That's a psychopath. Anyway, there's no surprise to a demon-possessed third party when they're in directed light. They're monitoring you. You're never supposed to notice the directed light. All right, GSM again, engaging in facilitation as I stated. This is license plate HV13023, that's Oregon. That's the back plate, and I read you the first plate of GSF. I'm sorry, that's the proper acronym for that. It is 9:11 p.m. All right, molesting is license 16377. On a 16377J2, molesting with the entity that's flying over by plane, and also molesting with Tracy Banks. You hear her hollering, that's audible activity, and this is a demon. That's talking about I'm causing attention while the entity's stalking me by helicopter. This is a hostile demon who's molesting 16377J2. It's 9:16 p.m. This is P.O.C. outside of Starbucks, and I'm going to prosecute them for that ongoing sexual violence all day long. P.O.C. Seven KKA 609, 8TZP 692, 8KTP 655. Group stalking at U.S.A. gasoline. They're all aiming their headlights toward the street, stalking with light activity. And that's exactly what the third party who, as I'm walking out of Starbucks, understand that Minion was also monitoring while my panties were down in the bathroom. That's a sex offender engaging in bathroom monitoring. And then I walk out and he's molesting a sex offender as I walk out. 8M26155, I believe. It's currently 9:19 p.m. 8M26152 is the correct license plate. 8TFR765 at Mountain and 4th Street at 9:21 p.m. 7XDY373 AS91L46. Okay, AS91L46, yeah, that's paper. D27, 6ZKRD27, yeah. 7PKA129, 7KFG434, 6VMP 729, excuse me. 6VMP 729. 7XOM 706. 8XNU 170. 8YQX 774. 4VVV 612. 6V96083. 6UDB 024. 8E76993. BDX K329, I believe. 45538X2. 8HSC 791. 7HXB 345. 7PPC 733. 7CRE 063. 60571Y2. 5JLW 207. 8ZBA 186. 8UCP 686. 5DVN 386. 7EZR 079. This is 434 North Euclid Avenue, the ARCO, and they're monitoring. It's 9:27 p.m. 28460. No, I can't really see the rest one. You just rest on. 6RFU 871, 8DGM 734, 8PZE 292. 7K IP 450, 7LDR 452, I believe. 5DMP 574. 7XUE 070. 5H05019. 6W53229. 8NAW 854. All right, the entity stalking by airplane, commercial airline planes, is doing so flying over Fern Avenue, as I have already documented prior to tonight, prior to this year. This is the pattern of stalking by planes, as I've documented, and as I'm pointing out when I'm sleeping nowhere near 630 North Fern in the entity, Southwest Airlines, Delta Airlines, Alaska Airlines, Frontier Airlines, FedEx planes, Amazon Prime planes, UPS planes, flying over me where I'm located. 8NVU 699, flying directly over the side of the museum where I'm laying, flying directly over me at the intersection of Euclid and Hope Boulevard by the REA Money Transfer at 100 South Euclid Avenue where I'm standing, hovering over the building right over my head. This is where they concentrate their flight, and that's why they're concentrating flight over Fern Avenue, this residential area, hovering over, playing the same tape. Literally, it's like they're just pressing play on the same exact sound while they hover over the street. It's demonic conduct. In the same way that you're talking about, you're dealing with demonic activity. So the train that is used on the tracks of Amtrak train tracks, it's not necessary for the demonic conduct of the sound of the train. It's two separate acts. Understand that. You're dealing with the demonic. And that's what's going on with the use of a plane hovering over the street at Fern Avenue, showing you that stalking, following, flying where I'm at, where it's also stalking in directed light. That's how you know they're stalking. And also you have the entity that's stalking by helicopter. This is what group stalking is. The entity stalks by helicopter, stalks by airplanes, and stalks by the demon possessed. License 5VOE 625. All right, and that's documentation essentially of the Ontario airport. Not essentially, it is documentation of the Ontario airport, which I've provided years of documentation of. 8ROW 660, 7FFT 574. 25PH81, 4TKX 995. And in addition to that, as I exit the vehicle, this plane is simultaneously, that's a demon stalking with activity. That's a demon, by the way, that's already stalking. You're already there hovering, and then you're playing the tape of a sound of a plane taking off as though it's taking off from Fern Avenue, I suppose, because the Ontario Airport is a long distance away. You're going quite out of your way to hover over Fern Avenue, right over my head in directed light. It's blatant stalking using commercial airline planes, but does so, again, pursuant to the demonic pattern as I start engaging in movement, as I exit the car. All right, I did capture pictures of that. Anyway, it's currently 9:41 p.m. All right, license 25PH81. Make sure that's correct again. 25PH81 is stalking in the path with light. So they are group stalking in the path. They're also group stalking while they then enter their vehicle and turn their headlights on, aiming it inside of the 7-Eleven. This is light activity. This is an act of terrorism, as you're understanding and documenting what is group stalking and monitoring on behalf of the state. And this is the demonic conduct that the people of the state surround you with everywhere that you're going. License. And by the way, while I'm documenting, I couldn't see that license plate, so you could scratch that one. While I'm documenting the entity stalking and molesting, aiming directed light inside of Starbucks, that's what I'm documenting while I'm inside of the car. And the entity is molesting with directed light. It's piercing through blankets. Right. Okay. While you're driving by, that's the pattern. Stalking with light. 7AEA653, occurring inside a Starbucks. They are engaged in certified terrorism, and they are a certified sex offender. And that pattern of conduct, when I'm referencing directing light, moving all around, flashing all around, I've already documented this inside a Starbucks at 706 West Hope Boulevard. I've already documented this inside a Starbucks at 4490 Hope Boulevard in Montclair, California. What I am speaking to, what everything that I am referencing is a matter of already published documentation. So when I am speaking of what is molestation and flashing and directed light, I have already thoroughly published this. Directed light is a fact, okay? License 80616G2, 6JRN991. And not only that, not only is it a fact, it's also a fact inside a Starbucks at more than one venue. Let me be clear what a pattern is by definition. One or more occurrences. And that's exactly going to be the definition. That is the definition for the documentation of a pattern by the state, any state that is placing you under surveillance and establishing that pattern of conduct. And a pattern of conduct with directed light, that's a certified pattern because it's an impossible occurrence. It's impossible that directed light is ever occurring in the first place. It's the act of a demon possessed. All right. And you're talking about what is a pattern of that. You're talking about what is a specific pattern even inside of the very venue that I'm inside of, Starbucks, at a different location, a different address. Yeah, Starbucks is a group stalker. All right. It's currently 9:45 p.m. This is P.O.C. That's Union Pacific engaged in criminal summoning, and that's the impossible audible activity of the train as though the Union Pacific train would be heard outside of 325 West G Street. That's P.O.C. It's 9:50 p.m. That's called maintenance of noise, and that's criminal summoning. The entity was also sounding sirens. That's indicative of the same P.O.C., by the way. The demon-possessed minions using sirens. They're demons. The demonic activity, sounding of a train, which is impossible to hear at that volume and at this distance. All right, where I'm at the museum, the entity's amplifying that as though everybody that's quite a distance from the museum, from that train track at the, which is south of Hope Boulevard, okay? And hearing it up here at what is G Street. That's a substantial distance. That's super amplification. That's demonic, okay? That is a nuisance that is not going to occur. Remember how often the entity is sounding train activity. When I'm at the museum, it's every 7 to 9 minutes, and then in between if I make a sudden move. All right, that's quite a disturbance. No, that's demons. Those are demons that are monitoring. You already know this is where the entity is stalking by helicopter. You already know what the use of Union Pacific. It's not, the argument is not well, actually part of it is relevant because you actually cannot hear the train from this distance. And you also wouldn't hear it at that volume. You wouldn't hear it at all. But not only that, this is not the focus. While Satan would be focused on that and sounding the train even louder. Oh, yes, it is. Yes, you can hear it because you're hearing it. And I'm just giving you what is the absence of any argument on behalf of this demon-possessed entity. The issue is this is where the entity is stalking by helicopter and stalking by sirens, which are hallmarks, where the entity is stalking with a fake sun, stalking with directed light, stalking by police, fire, and ambulance. That's how you are understanding the context to any and everything that you hear. And it is a breakdown and also what is translating for what it is that you hear, which is demonic. Okay, so it's 9:52 p.m. That's Union Pacific. As I document all day long while I'm at Starbucks, Union Pacific is engaged in a P.O.C. that is ceaselessly underway. Not while Union Pacific is being a stalker while I'm only at the museum or while I'm in the car at 9:52 p.m., where Union Pacific is a guise under which the demon-possessed entity, the state of California, is monitoring me. Union Pacific shall be prosecuted for the entirety of that criminal act that it's participating in by a company name. Okay, it is 9:53 p.m. This is P.O.C. That's criminal summoning. The entity cycling direct the light across the curb where this vehicle is parked outside of 325 West G Street. That is the documentation of the demon that lives inside of that facilitating venue at 325 West G Street, Woodside Senior Apartments, 630 North Fern Avenue, 621 North Fern Avenue, 711 at 636 North Vine Avenue in Ontario, California, Courtyard Villas Apartments. That's ongoing facilitating conduct. Demons surrounded there monitoring with the state while the entity engages in that act of terrorism. All right, it's 9:53 p.m. That also is an ongoing translation about what Union Pacific is engaging in. Regardless of the fact that you actually cannot hear a Union Pacific train south of what is Hope Boulevard at this distance up here at G Street and Fern Avenue. All right, that is the prosecution of that company, the Union Pacific, while that demonic environment surrounds me. It is, in other words, facilitating that demonic environment, directed light, plus audible activity, and demons surrounding relevant position. It is the P.O.C. It's 9:54 p.m.